And that leads us to the finale of White Pony, the song that closes the album. It is the longest Deftones song. It's 7.5 minutes. It is an epic journey. And it is called Pink Maggit.
Very interesting title.
Yes.
I'll stick take your oxygen set you on fire 'cause I'm on fire. This so forget about me 'cause I'll stick you. Push back the square now that you near and the soul there you go 'cause back in school we are the leaders of all.
There you go.
Ooh, that was quite the outro instrumental. Fucking hell.
Hmm.
Jesus. Yeah, that song felt a lot like all about how it was instrumentally. The drums were insane,
Yeah.
and the guitar was just on another level on that one, especially at the end there.
Yeah, the structure of the song is so good. It like the 7.5 minutes works really well. They actually make it really good.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like 7.5 minutes. That's always the worry when there's songs that we listen to, whether it's soundtracks or albums, when they're that long, there's always a fear it drags just naturally. But sometimes it could just feel like it's overdoing itself. That one, it actually felt pretty well paced.
Yeah. It's a very non-traditional song as well. Like it starts with that 2-minute verse at the start, and then when the song kicks in, it just has this extremely long chorus. It's got three choruses technically if you cycle back to, push back the square. But it's like chorus, chorus, chorus. Like it's constant engagement. It's very, very. I think it works beautifully as the last song on the album because it is like an outro.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like that. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It's this is a song about school. It's about being tormented and bullied. And so the idea is it's meant to kind of be a triumphant rage. Lots of artists try to make songs for kids who are tormented in school, telling them that it's okay to be tormented, but it's not. Don't be ridiculed. Become the leader of your surroundings. Confidence is one of the most important things in life. If you're confident, you can do whatever you want. It is very anti-power. It does it in a very aggressive way, like, push back the square now that you've kneed her in the throat. Well, there you go, because back in school, we are the leaders of all. Transpose or stop your life is what you do. It's like basically a call to action, to basically refuse to be not only tormented by other students, but also teachers as well. Like it's standing up for yourself. And this is kind of like Chino when he had his first day of school. This was kind of his mindset, was this song. Obviously very aggressive, but when you're in a school that is very, has a lot of conflict, especially physical conflict, especially when you're a teenager as well, and you have so much rage and so much vulgarness, you can kind of see where this inspiration comes out. There's a really interesting line where he says, I'm so into this whore, afraid I might lose her. I feel like there's a double meaning to this. The more literal meaning is scared that someone's going to steal his girlfriend. But I actually think the genuine meaning of this line is more about the inner self. It's like people, especially like in, Chino was a teenager sort of like in the late 80s. Especially around that time. But even now to some extent, a lot of boys, especially like sort of young teenage boys, were bullied for having a girly and weak feminine quality. And Chino does have a feminine quality. You've witnessed that in the way he sings and the words he uses. He has a very sensitive side. And so, like the bullies at school would call him a whore, they'd call him girl, they call him weak. And so it's like, the way a whore is like walked all over and abused. And he's afraid that he might lose his feminine side. So it's kind of like he needs to sort of like build a wall around him and stand up for himself so that this very real and natural part of himself is maintained and he doesn't lose his sensitivity, doesn't lose his feminine side, doesn't lose what makes him himself. Because if he didn't, then he'd probably end up like those bullies. He'd probably end up like this hardened, very aggressive, violent, nasty, masculine person. that has no sensitivity at all. So yeah, this, in a way, in the context of the experience of it being school, is kind of like a fight to the death, really. And I love the way that he decided to turn that into like an epic 7.5 minute, you know, song. And I love the fact that it ends with the heartbeat kind of being like, I'm still alive after all these fights. It's like, this is my survival. And I think it's a great epic outro to White Pony, which is a great album. And as you say, the instrumental goes hard. The guitars on this song and the drums are incredible.
Indeed. Very good stuff. Very, very, very consistent quality throughout the board.
That's right. So now that you've heard 7 songs from White Pony, where are you at now with Deftones' evolution as a band?
They're just very consistent. I think once they got out of their sort of grunge sort of very, very, what would be the word?
New metal.
Yeah. I think these 2 albums, I think, have been very just. It is. I think this one definitely is a step above, but I just think it's a very good, consistent quality throughout the board, and you know what you're going to get, but you know there will also be changes to make a certain song feel very unique or make it sort of like combine the vocals with the lyrics, combine with the instrumentals, make it all feel like each song is different, but it's still within what some of the best artists in the world do, make it their song. Like every song here was a Deftones song, quite easily.
Yeah. I think that the evolution from Adrenaline to Around the Fur to White Pony is such a great natural growth and expansion of musical talent. It's like I feel like on Adrenaline, they were a solid new metal band that could fit in to that style. On Around the Fur, they stood out and they've actually established themselves as a unique thing and a really great band. And I think on White Pony is the album that really makes them go, okay, now this is one of the greatest bands of the modern era of rock. It's like they're so good, so great lyrics, great singing, great features, great guitar work, great drums, great structure, great consistency, and obviously, you know, Frank Delgado's effects, keyboard, synthesizer, all the mixing. Like this is everything they were working towards kind of manifested with White Pony, I feel. Very happy place for me on this album. It's got such a beautiful balance of heavy metal, but also shoegaze and a few other things as well, like progressive rock and trip hop, and oh, it's so good. All right, so the next time we do this, we will be listening to one song off their self-titled 2003 album, which is called Minerva. I think the self-titled album as a whole is a bit of a step back. I think they lose a bit of their creative magic on it. Like, it's not a bad album, it's still a really good album, but I think there is something about it that doesn't quite work as well as White Pony. However, there is one song off the album that is genuinely one of their best ever, and it's called Minerva. So yeah, we will get to that next time. And then after Minerva, when we start Saturday Night Rest, which is their 2006 album, is when we enter their shoegaze era. It's when shoegaze becomes more prominent than heavy metal does. And it's like quite an interesting shift for them, because they do very different things to what they've done on their first 4 albums, but they do really great new things. As kind of the way I put it. Which again, like any great band, you evolve with time and you do different things and you try out different styles rather than repeating the same old thing. Because if they tried to do White Pony over and over again, it would grow old. eventually. Eventually, you'd reach a point where it just wouldn't work anymore. So yeah, next time we will do Minerva. Any last thoughts before we move forward with Deftones?
No, just keep it coming, because this is just consistently good stuff.
Yep, and also, given the fact that you liked Maynard James Keenan on Passenger, that I feel is a good sign that you might like the stuff he's done.
It certainly is.
Yeah.